So a couple of concepts. One of them is called superheroes. I've got a friend called Tom, and he's a trainer, and he did a bunch of work with salespeople, young salespeople working in the pharmaceutical environment. And these people would have to go and speak to oncologists and surgeons of ABC. If you're a doctor in the medical environment, you've got brains, right? You've studied long, you've studied hard, you've got a PhD, you've got brains, and you know it. Yeah. And everybody knows it. You're a big fish in a small pond. And if you're a sales rep, you're a worm. And if you're a medical practitioner, then you are a big fish. And so obviously they were feeling very, very scared very often when they're going in to speak to these people. And so Tom would teach them the following technique. He would say, look, pretend you're a superhero. Yeah. And what do superheroes do? Well, superheroes are very, very confident. They don't hide. Yeah. You don't have a superhero who's kind of hiding. And when they walk around, they've got a cape, right? They all have a cape in the background. So when you walk with a cape, you've got to walk with your chest out. You've got to walk with confidence. And he says, and superheroes always have red underpants, which they pull on over their trousers. Yeah. And because I don't know, that's a superhero thing to do. You've got to have a pair of red underpants or yellow or gold, your choice. And then as you walk through life, you've got to lead with your underpants, yeah, because they're red and gold and yellow. And he says, so, before you go into the doctor, remember that you're a superhero. Put your shoulders back, put your chest out, pull your underpants on, yeah, not real ones, of course, and then lead with your pants into the meeting. And and in the workshops, it's hysterical. We'd have bunches of people walking through the seminar room, leading with their pants. And it's all about the mindset that you bring into the process. Yeah. So, Mike, I think I've inspired you to do some hyperventilation breathing techniques. Have I inspired you to buy a shiny pair of underpants and put them on over your trousers?
I mean, you think I need to buy them, Tim? I'm one step ahead of you there.
Oh, great. The next curry evening is going to be great. Yeah.
But well, no, to answer your question, there's so much in this, and I teach a lot of presentation skills, and especially in the world of online presenting, the amount of times you have somebody presenting and they're slouching like this, they're leaning on their elbows, and not only does it not look visually as professional, it also impacts your confidence. It impacts the way you project your voice. And so I always tell them that the first thing to do when you're going to present is to sit up, arms by your sides, not leaning on anything, and head up so that you're kind of projecting out into the world, even if you are on Zoom, because it does massively make a difference, not just externally, but internally as well.
Yeah. Dress for success and pretend you're standing in front of 100 people and you're just about to say something really important, even if you're just on the phone to a customer. It does make a difference. There's a click in the mind which you click on for yourself, and it works. Now, what's also interesting is that the technique that Tom was teaching fits hand in hand with a different technique called leadership embodiment. So we'll put that into the search criteria for reading and research afterwards. And there's a leadership embodiment technique which was explained by people who were watching martial arts practitioners, so kung fu, taekwondo, and there's a kind of technique that the martial arts practitioners use, which is when they're just about to go into a fight, or when they're just about to receive an attack, if that makes sense. Yeah. So your antagonist is there and you're there, you've kind of got your knees in the right place, and I don't know what you're doing, but you're ready for that attack to come. And just before it comes, you breathe twice and exhale. Yeah. So there's a mechanism of doing that. And after that, you are getting ready and shoulders back and underpants ready and hips out. And you're mentally preparing yourself for what is to come. So I've not practiced this. I've just heard about it actually quite recently, but it's something that I'm going to be looking at a little bit more in the future, because it lends us a potential mechanism of not only increasing resilience over time with the practice that is behind it after I've cognitively understood it, but also as a mechanism of addressing potential stress situations if I can understand that that is a stress situation that is going to be coming to me within seconds or within minutes, something that happens. So finally, back to superheroes. Years ago, I saw an exercise that was done, which I tried out with the kids, and it was called Power Rangers. The idea was that you get your arm and you focus you pretend you're a Power Ranger, and your arm is a kind of weapon, and from the front of your arm you're going to shoot a laser beam. And so you're looking down your arm and you're looking at the end and you're looking at the thing that you want to shoot. And then you start shooting it. You're going, yeah, like a lightsaber, and your laser beam is going out to wherever you want it to go. And that may be 20, 30, 40 meters into the future. And the idea was that then it's very hard to bring your arm down. Does that make sense?
Why is it hard to bring your arm down?
Because the level of focus and energy that you're putting into the visualization of this laser beam coming out of your arm has a physical effect on the strength within your body in order to keep your arm up. So you don't want to drop your arm, because otherwise the laser beam will be broken. My daughter and her best friend, they're mini girls. They were like 3 years old or 4 years old, and they were playing Power Rangers. So I showed them this technique, got them to start Power Rangering away and laser beaming. And then we brought their brothers over and their friends who were 3 years older. So you had this tiny girl, a couple of tiny girls laser beamering, with 2 boys hanging off their arms, trying to pull their arms down. And the girls were going and shooting their laser beams out into the lake. And the boys were going, "What's going on? What's going on? We can't even bring your arm down." And it was very cool. What do you think the point of the story is?
Well, for this particular one, I kind of see the point as firstly being that mind over matter. I mean, in terms of the power that we have in our minds and how it affects us, whether we imagine ourselves as weak or imagine ourselves as strong. There's actually a lot of self-fulfillment in that. And also being aware of just where is our focus and how sharp, like a laser beam, is our focus. I mean,
yeah.
You're using a literal laser beam visualization, but the laser beam is always used to mean sharp focus, right? Because even in the kind of metaphorical sense, it makes perfect sense. And so I think we can also look at our ability to focus and question how sharp is it, and what can we do, which of these mechanisms and concepts can we use to improve that? Because focus, how in control are we of it, is directly correlated to how well do we handle our stress, how resilient are we, and how easily distracted, and how much do we get lost in our own thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you see and visualize the success that you want to create? What is the quality of your long-term goal setting? I think it comes very much back into the first film clip that we made around time management principle of what are your longer term plans, and as you say, what is the clarity of the focus and the laser beam quality that you can bring to that, and not let anybody pull you away from it. Yeah. So reflection questions.
Well, we had a series of concepts there. So we had the superhero idea of chest out, pants on. We had this idea of centering yourself, the leadership embodiment concept of the breathing before an impact. And we had this idea of the Power Rangers, sort of the laser focus. And so the question is, how well do you use any of these things, or how well do you kind of center yourself in any way, and what other techniques might you be using to achieve the same outcome.
And I suppose a discussion could be within the working environment where we're assuming that everybody is on the end of a computer dealing with an angry or frustrated email, or even on the end of a phone dealing with a very real angry or frustrated person. How could some of these techniques be used to deal with that reality and that situation? Yeah. Is there time and space to do some centering? Are there goals and vision and laser beam focus areas that can be set in order to think about other directions which achieve customer satisfaction goals? Whatever.